KB2 UKA. Good morning.
Listen to that. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Arthur. Good morning, John.
Yeah. Well, John, we the people feel exactly what you just said. But the District of Corruption wants to keep the thumb on our back and our heads buried in the dirt. They don't want us to think like that. But Trump does, okay? Trump, what you just said is what Trump thinks. Seriously, let's get this place better and faster and stronger. But the schmucks up there in D.C., they want the money grabs. They want the crisis. They want us to be sick. They want the kickbacks from Pfizer. They want the kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies that are in the hospitals selling their drugs to the doctors to prescribe. And this is all the circle. The food, the junk, they're allowed to put it in. The FDA, another three-letter agency that laughs all the way to the bank. And this is what this is all about. This is what's been going on for 30 years. The education system, the whole, we could sit here all day long. And this is exactly why they, on July 13th, at Butler Field in Pennsylvania, they tried to kill the man. And I'm just going to end with that right there.
Hey, you remember, you know Trump's campaign slogan, "Make America Great Again," right? Now, you know, only the Democrats, the Commie-crats can figure out a way to make that sound bad. You know, "Make America Great Again," if you say it friendly and pleasant, hey guys, let's just make America great again. Wouldn't that be great, huh? But what the Democrats did is they turned that into like a Nazi symbol. Make a MAGA extremists, MAGAs. Like they turned it into like it's the scary monster thing. And that's what they do. Make America great again sounds wonderful if you say it the right way and think of it the right way, which is, hey, America has lost its way a little bit. We just want to make it great again.
Good morning, everyone.
The place that we
Good
all
morning.
wish it could be and want it to be. But the Democrats didn't like that because it's a good message to say that, right? The Democrats didn't like that. So what did they do? They had to turn it into something like it was a Hitler slogan or something, you know? And they call them MAGA extremists, the voters. What's a MAGA? Yeah, I'm extreme MAGA. I want America to be as great as possible. So yeah, extremely America great. That's what I want. I mean, they've made everything sound crazy, you know? This is why I keep saying over and over that the House of Cards has fallen. They totally blew it. They way overplayed their hand here, and they exposed the belly of the beast to the whole world. And now everybody knows what it is. They know. That's it. Now what do? You know, and when everybody knows the secret recipe to your little trick, that's it. The trick's over.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I think, John, you're booming in. Art, I'm probably light on you. It's a little late. Maybe we want to go to 40 if there's room. Oh, man, I'm tired. I stayed up to watch my childhood hero lose a fight last night.
I think it was scripted. That's my opinion anyway. It was, they made a lot of money and kind of a Netflix extravaganza, right? You know, they got more subscribers. I think it's a big circus act, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think it was scripted. Well, Tyson made $20 million and Jake Paul made 40, but I think was their minimum. So I think Jake Paul actually made more because he won.
I kind of feel bad because it's kind of like Tyson, wrecked his legacy a little bit in a way. I mean, I'm sure he made a ton of money and all that, but I don't know. It's just kind of like a crappy way to go out. Like now he'll be remembered as losing this fight,
Yeah. I remember when he lost to Buster Douglas. What was that? 89, 88, maybe. or maybe even earlier. It might have been earlier. Might have been 87. But I remember that. But man, I remember all the wins, boy. Oh, he was unstoppable. But, I watch him on Joe Rogan all the time. I watch all his interviews. I think he's found a calming peace in his life. So hopefully he just enjoys the rest of his life.
Right. Yeah, there's a commercial where he knocks on a Vanda Holyfield store and he hands him a little box and it's his ear and he says he's sorry.
Yep. You guys want to go, Art, you want to go to 40?
Yeah, we could try 40. I'll be in here for a little bit longer, but I don't know about 14, but we'll have to skirt around and we'll make a message.
All right, let me go look and I'll send it on Rumble. KB2 UKA.
That's funny. I never heard of it. I got it on pay-per-view.
Oh no.
You better hang on to it. I'm looking for a really light one. What would be nice too is something to suck up the leaves off of the ground, because that's a pain too. I must be getting old.
This is KB2 UKA. KB2 UKA is the frequency in use. This is Kilo Bravo 2 United Kilowatt Alpha is the frequency occupied, is the frequency in use. All right, this is KB2 UKA standing by for the group. Let me just check that. 1, 2, 1, 2. So what if we do that? 1, 2. Okay. There we go. All right, we got a full legal limit output power. KB2 UKA.
3 KBC.
Good morning, DJ. Sounding marvelous.
So do you, sir. You sound extra marvelous.
Well, I didn't make any changes except the radio, but I am hearing a little bit more fidelity out of this audio board, so I'll take it, DJ. Hope you're doing well. We are 49 degrees, beautiful sunny day. We are in a red flag burn warning, extremely dry. We're basically in a drought down here.
Oh my, I got 49 and it's quite breezy. And we've had about 1.5 inches of rain so far.
We've had about 1/2 inch of rain in the last month and a half.
Carol just brought my coffee down. She asked if Mike Tyson won. Do you know?
It's a sad night. He did not win. Unanimous. He went all 8. It was an 8-round, 2-minute, 8 2-minute rounds. He went all 8, and he lost by unanimous decision.
Oh, well. I didn't want that little... Yeah, she's not... well, anyhow, well, it is... he's getting pretty old, and the other young guy had a lot more energy, so... And then,
a little peckerhead.
yeah, he's... yeah. Yeah, I'm keyed up, Carrie. You can't say peckerhead on the radio, okay? Okay, well, there you go.
Well, she's right. He is a peckerhead. Yeah, look, he's 58, which really isn't old, but for a sport like that, it is. But man, he was in some shape for 58. But yeah, he Jake Paul's a lot tall. Well, Tyson was never, Tyson always had a height disadvantage. I remember when Buster Douglas beat him. The reach was just so much greater. But he'll still be my childhood boxing hero, KB2 UKA.
Roger, yeah. Well, physique has a lot to do with it, I guess. He did his best, I guess, and I guess it all depends on the judges,
Nah, he got his butt kicked. I watched it. Paul connected on many more punches. But not bad to lose and get $20 million. So he got $20 million. That was his minimum. Jake Paul's minimum was $40 million. I'm assuming he got more because he won. But 8 2-minute rounds for $20 million. And you're Iron Mike. Why not?
Well, there you go. Yep. Oh well. Yeah. I guess he got some change put in his piggy bank for himself. So that's a good thing. As all things never stay the same. They do change.
I guess his retirement plan.
Yep. Yeah, well, you think about the life he had, right? Being propelled to the heavyweight champion at such a young age, and then the drugs and being set up for crimes, and then having Don King take all your money and manipulate you. And then now, I was saying this on $39.99, you listen to him on Joe Rogan, and I think he's at peace with himself now.
Yeah, he's been through a whole bunch of stuff. Hey, by the way, you're on the G2?
Very nice.
Yes, Sean, I am on the G2.
Yeah, it sounds. I could say it sounds obviously better than the 7000. Not that the 7000 sounded bad, but this sounds just much more open, more clarity.
Yeah, I told you, Doug.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I didn't think I'd hear any noticeable difference over the air, but I hear it on the recordings. And Art, this is VAC. So there's a noise on the balance input. And I also don't think, now I'm sure I could open it up and look, but I don't think it's truly balanced because of the huge amount of gain reduction. And I'm not talking about the rack was overdriving because, I'm peaking at like minus 5 dB on all the rack pieces. And I had to turn it down even more to get it to not sound overdriven. And did you put a ferrite on the balance input? Am I remembering that right?
I did. Let me stop this real quick. Yeah, I think John actually recommended it. So yeah, when you open up the top cover, you'll see the XLR. Well, the input jack for the audio, and I guess it is the 1 1/4. And right behind that, they'll put a clip there. A snap clamshell snap-on ferrite, and then follow that wire right to where the header, the Molex, plugs into the preamp audio board, and then put one there. But no, now there's another fix. And John, you mentioned this too, if I recall. We saw this on the community page. Someone did a mod. They took out the plastic housing, which it is plastic. It's not making a metal connection or a chassis ground connection. I'm going to do it on mine. It's a planned, it's simple. I'm going to do it. I just have to get the metal housing 1/4-inch jack, a female, with the correct diameter. If I have to mod the hole, no problem. And then the little washer and the nut to hold it. And that should be a metal contact to ground chassis, and it's not. It's floating.
Wow. Hold on. Let me see if I have it. I don't get it, right? Because they advertise how, broadcast audio with that jack. Here's my thinking, and I said it last night. There's basically the audio board inside the G2 and inside the Anan, the 7000, it's basically an audio interface, right? It's an analog to digital converter. So, running all this analog gear and trying to be a purist and blah, 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 you're doing a digital conversion into that XLR jack anyway. So by using VAC, I'm just doing the digital conversion earlier, and I'm doing it on probably a better audio board in this PreSonus audio interface than what's inside the radio. So that's my thinking.
Yeah, I would concur with that. I'd agree. Taking the audio interface outside the radio, via USB, right, over VAC, that means your digital to analog converters that are in your PreSonus are what define the quality of the audio and the sound, right? How good the hardware in that box is. And then, it goes straight from there. It's digital, stays in the digital domain from that point forward. The interface in the G2, is similar, a similar idea. The thing with the microphone, the balanced or pseudo-balanced microphone input that they have on the G2 is they have essentially a phono preamp. That's that little, if you look inside the G2, you see a separate board. And essentially it's a phono preamp. And they use, basically a transistorized input, op-amp input, and that they can create basically like a pseudo-balanced input, which is, it's still good, it's still balanced. But I feel like the one thing is that maybe the preamp board that's in the G2 has a couple of maybe design issues. One is maybe there's too much gain to begin with. Maybe I think it's possible there just might be too much gain, which there's ways to deal with that with some modifications. The other thing is I'm not sure about the way the phono preamp is installed inside the case and shielded. I would think something that has that much gain, audio gain, like a mic preamp, right? That needs to be shielded better, because if it's inside the radio where it's transmitting, you've got high RF energy in there. Couldn't that affect the mic preamp possibly? So I'm just saying there's a couple of things that are weird. And then I'm not sure about the thing that you're talking about, Art, with the metal, panel mount jack that you're talking about as opposed to the plastic panel mount jack. See, that raises some interesting questions for me, because on one hand, I see the concept, shouldn't everything essentially be at the same ground potential? Yeah, it should be, I would think. And having the audio at the same ground as the supply and everything probably is a good thing. However, if depending on the way that mic preamp is made, if it's balanced, depending on the way they made it, it may need to be a plastic jack, meaning that the ground needs to be separate from chassis ground. It needs to be like its own isolated audio ground. And that's what I'm not 100% clear on yet. I've been trying to figure that one out for a while. Is the preamp in the radio at chassis ground, or does it need to be a separate isolated ground like an audio ground, meaning that plastic jack is necessary? And I wonder if anybody on the forum could answer that, like definitively, electrically, the way it is the ground, does the chassis ground and the audio ground, are they separate, or can they be tied together, or are they the same? So anyway, that's what I'm curious about. But if you use an external interface, then that you kind of negate all that, because now you're not using the preamp in the radio anymore. You're just using your external box, which I still believe an external interface really is the way to go if you want to have better audio. I just, I get it. They're not going to put that much expense in the radio into the audio boards. Oh, one last thing, and then I'll unkey. Sorry. Well, my mind is racing. Okay, so in the G2 that microphone preamp board is a board, right? It's a board, circuit board. Well, somebody could obviously take the circuit board layout and then modify the design and make a really nice preamp that plugs right in place of the stock one. So maybe someone out there down the road will make an add-on high-end mic preamp with a true balanced input with a transformer and everything. Wouldn't that be awesome? KC2QMA.
N4QNT.
KB2 UKA Art. You want to go? Because I have a couple of questions, but you could go.
Yeah, just real quick on that. So, John, just to mention the outcome, what happens currently is when people hook up a mic directly to the quarter-inch jack on the back of the radio, like an RA27. So XLR out of the mic, quarter-inch jack into the back of the G2, go into Thetis, do all your tools, get your EQing going, set your frequencies. Then you have to do usually plus 20 to get that mic to get up and go a little bit in Thetis software. That's when the audio RFI echo effect occurs. There's like this lingering echo in the audio, and it's distorted. It's definitely audio feedback RFI. When the guy did the mod with the metal housing, it went away.
Aha. Okay, well, there it is then. Yeah, when you put that 20 dB on, that's a lot of gain. That's the kind of gain where, just if everything was unplugged from the microphone input and you just put your hand near the connector, you'd start to hear it hum, just putting your hand there. So that's a lot of gain. So if there's RFI leaking, yeah, that's no good. All right, so there you go. Question answered. Well, if that's the case, I think in a couple of months my radio goes out of warranty. I'll get out the hole punch there, and I'll put a frickin' XLR connector on the back of it.
A metal one. Go ahead, Doug.
So, John said something interesting. So obviously, with a rack or with anything that's not just a microphone, we don't have the 20 dB boost on. But what I would have wanted, and maybe I don't think this is what it is based on what you said, John, the 3.5 millimeter mic connector on the back of the G2, I'm all for that having preamplification. Why isn't the quasi XLR, which is a quarter-inch TRS, why is there amplification there at all, right? I think that's the problem I'm having. If the 20 dB is off, I don't want amplification on a balance input. I want basically a one-to-one line level input, which it is not. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah, if it's a line level input, let me back up here. So what you're talking about is unity gain. Basically, yeah, 1-to-1 or 0 dB. Like basically what you get in is what you get out. There's no boost, there's no cut. It's just 1-to-1. Okay. So, and that could exist in a mic level or a line level, but I think the issue with that board. Well, let me answer your question. So yeah, if you use it with the 20 dB off, I believe that is unity gain as far as I know with the input. And let me just look in mine. I don't use the 20 dB. I'm pretty damn sure of it, but let me just make sure before I overspeak here. Yeah, it's turned off. So yeah, I have it set for looking at my hardware options. In the hardware options under hardware select, right? Under hardware options, all the buttons on the left are checked, including the Alex, XLR, and all that is selected.
So real quick, Doug, on the back of the G2, there is a line in. It's unfortunately it's the .35, right? It's the mini jack, the 1/8-inch stereo mini jack. So that's the actual line in, and then in Thetis you can click line in bubble under transmit tab, and then you have the adjustment for line level control.
Well, I learned that. It took me about 45 minutes the night I got this thing to get audio into it, because here I was plugged into I'm just going to call it what it's labeled. I was plugged into the XLR, quarter inch. I selected XLR under general hardware options. I then went to transmit and selected line in, and thinking that that's also line in, and I wasn't getting audio. When I finally changed it to mic in, then I got audio, which I think defeats the whole damn purpose of having that jack on the back of the radio. So yes, if I use the 3.5 millimeter line in, I would then select line in under transmit. But then I think I would need to use my DI box again.
VA3 KBC, bottom of the hour.
KB2 UKA.
So this is a great subject. I'm happy this came up. And you're right. So this is what the G2 is all about. Self-contained, plug in a microphone, no rack gear, no mic preamp, no cloud lifters. You know what I'm talking about. All the stuff sitting on the left side of our desk or right side, right? Plug a mic directly into the mic preamp, which is mic in, mic level. Then you got your plus 20 option, like a cloud lifter, built into Thetis, for a mic that needs it, like a Shure SM7B. And there you go. You're up and running with an amplified mic preamp board. The only issue is you're going to get audio feedback RFI until you ground it correctly or put whatever. I'm thinking it makes sense. Now we're kind of talking about this. You want to come out of your rack gear and go to line in. No preamp in the way, no extra lift needed. You're doing it all on the outside, and then control your line level. You can go negative numbers or positive numbers. To me, that's the right way to hook up the radio with rack gear.
Yeah, and I think it could be a language barrier or transition, because think about it. On a preamp, you plug a mic into an XLR cable. I think that quarter-inch plug is meant for a microphone, to your point. And yeah, whether you have the blank face or the face G2, the whole damn thing is self-contained if you want it to be. On ours, you just connect the monitor and a keyboard and a mouse and you're ready to go. So it would make sense that you're plugging a microphone into their quasi-XLR input. Very interesting. KB2 UKA.
I think when because you could see in all the nomenclature in the software, it says XLR on the back, on the silk screening, it says XLR. Obviously, they must have intended to use an XLR connector in the original plan, and they never changed it in, obviously, the printing yet. They'll probably change it soon, and they decided to go to that quarter-inch jack. Not sure exactly why, maybe to save money. I'm really not 100% sure. But, yeah, the gain of the input, of that input, is definitely mic level, right? Yes, you could plug a microphone right into that tip ring sleeve quarter-inch input. If it was just a damn XLR cable, you just get a regular microphone cable, plug it right into the radio, plug it right into the mic, and you'd be done instantly. That would be it. So I don't know why they used the quarter-inch. That was so stupid. Just put an XLR connector like you had intended, if that's the plan. And, yeah, the way you described it, Art, is exactly what it is. It's a standard, I don't know what the stock gain of the preamp is, but it's a standard mic preamp by itself, plus the 20 dB, which is like a cloud lifter, so it gives you that extra boost. And then it goes from out of the preamp board into the digital to analog converter on the radio. So, yeah, I mean, it's basically a microphone input. And I get it. The idea would be most people don't do what we do with rack gear and all that stuff. They just plug a microphone in. And the radio will work great like that. I wish it had a true, high quality line input. That would have been really nice. But I got to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it, I see the writing on the wall for the future. What I see eventually is going to be probably, what do you think, VST plugins built into Thetis directly, and probably people will just do what you're doing, Doug, which is just use an audio interface of your choice, whatever one you choose. That's works with Thetis, and you plug your microphone in. You set your level on the mic preamp there, and you just run all your processing right inside of Thetis.
Yeah, I think that's in the future. And a lot of guys are using. Steve got a lot of guys into VST hosts, which I've done before. And again, I was trying to be a purist by going into those inputs, but I hate to say it, the Flex, the 6600, and now I don't know if it's only the 8600, but it might be the 8400 too. I believe those are true balanced inputs on the back of those rigs. And I think there is no gain unless you turn the gain on.
No. That word, Pursudio, what's it? I always mess up that word, John. Pseudo. It's still pseudo, Doug.
Oh, it is, huh? So there's no radio with a true line level balanced input.
Well, I think at some point when my warranty runs out, what I think would be fun to do is punch a hole in the back of this thing, put a real XLR connector on it, and then maybe get one of those balanced transformers, like a SynMag transformer or a Jensen transformer, and have that, and then you'd have a real, true balanced, transformer balanced input.
And the hole's already there, John. You just have to remove the round barrel quarter-inch female currently, and maybe just mod the hole a little bit to compensate for the barrel of the new, the female XLR.
Oh yeah, it's a piece of cake. Plenty of room back there.
Like a walk in the park.
Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Richard.
KG4 WQQ.
Good morning, Richard. Listen to that audio. Oh, man.
Yeah, I think a nice upgrade or a modification, like if somebody can come up with it, who would be good at this? I'm trying to think. Like IHY, I think he's not in the game anymore. But someone that does like the little audio boxes would be a great project for them, is to make a sealed in a metal box mic preamp, but a high quality mic preamp that you remove the stock one that's in the G2 now, right? And you just unscrew that one, and then you screw this one in, plug the cables in, hook it up, and you've got yourself a really nice preamp as opposed to the one that's in there now. The one that's in there now is it's okay, but I just feel like it's not really fully finished,
Tango Victor Zulu.
Season use, sir.
The Tango Victor Zulu, do you want to jump in here? Oh, you must have heard the whole thing, Art. I thought he was just breaking in, but I guess whatever. You ever see that guy on YouTube? He used to do the Kenwood audio mods. I think he also did them on non-Kenwoods. Asamad, I think Asamad. He knows what he's doing building audio boards.
And Mike, too, the gentleman that fixed your piece of equipment, Doug, he'll be real good at that little box. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike's trying to come in. Go ahead, Mike.
How'd you know I was trying to come in? Good morning, everybody. KG2 Ham.
Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mike.
All right, I'm going to be on the side for 2 seconds here, Art. I just want to listen to that recording. Be right back.
They advertise, broadcast audio with that jack. Here's my thinking. There's basically the audio board inside the G2 and inside the 7000. It's basically an audio interface, right? It's an analog to digital converter. So, running all this analog gear and trying to be a purist and blah, blah, blah. You're doing a digital conversion into that XO.
Yeah, so I'm just a high-end appliance operator.
Oh, that's a good one. And to be truthful, my abilities are really starting to slip. I've noticed I used to have a lot more fire in my belly, and that before when I'd get a new computer, I'd be right at it. And this took me, 3.5 months, and I finally got Thetis loaded, but that's as far as I've gotten. So I just don't have that fire in my belly and desire like I used to have.
I think it comes and goes, DJ. You'll wake up one morning and you'll want to do everything to it.
You think, and you're afraid like things are gonna fail, and yeah, I get that as I've gotten older. Like you lose confidence a little bit too.
I think that's it. I think you hit the nail on the head, John.
When you're younger and like you say, have a little more fire in your belly, you're a little more fearless. When you get older, you just kind of like, I don't want to screw my computer up. It's like I don't want to have to go through the stress because, you just don't want to deal with the headache. But, yeah, I know. I feel that way a little bit, too, nowadays. You just push through a little bit.
Yeah, the old plug and play and forget it.
We're watching a lot of our
forget it.
YouTubers that we watch, and Trent Palmer's one of them. He's building a new airplane. And they were doing the covering, and I got thinking, man, I did that. I drove down. I bored a trailer. I replaced the wheel bearings on it, greased everything up, got it all ship shape, replaced the lights. Drove down to Toledo to where the dealer was. Got I went down 3 times. Fuselage, tail feathers, fuselage, then wings. And, built this thing. I built a second one, actually, as well, but, built it, covered it, painted, all that kind of stuff. And as I was watching Trent Palmer there, it got me thinking back of my past and all the things I've done, building my own 16-row no-till planter. And, I built my own hangar at the back of the shop, all that kind of stuff. And today, I just look at that and think, I don't think I could handle this. I couldn't tackle that anymore, physically or mentally.
Well, you made up for it when you did have the energy, so at least you did. KC2QMA.
KB2 UKA.
Do you have the YouTube going, Doug?
I do, and you're booming in.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to double check. I want to do a quick 2-tone test and see if the 4 or 6 lines actually disappear and leave only 2 lines on the 2-tone.
Well, the stage is yours, Art. Go ahead.
Two lines here.
Yep, they were all there, and then only 2 remained.
Yeah, something's been working good, and I don't know what happened or how, but it has something to do with the settings in the amp view. I was listening to the guys on 30 this morning. They went through a few settings, and I tried this, and it's been working great since.
Please share amp view. So right now I have everything checked off.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I just wanted to check something for the YouTube feed also. I'm actually testing something with the equalizer again. And, okay, I just want to do it real quick. So right now I have the high boost on. I've been trying this high boost thing out and seeing if it really works, but I don't know if it wrecks my audio. Right now it's on. Now I just turned it off. This is the high boost turned off. I see a little difference. Now I'm going to turn it back on. I just turned it back on. That's the high boost back on. So just kind of experimenting with that to see if it distorts the high frequency in my audio.
Not at all. I like it with it on, and you'll see in the video how balanced your signal looks when you have it on.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, Art. Let's hear it.
I just started. I just did a full panel here on my other monitor. I like how you did that with the new window now with the bandwidth and the gosh, that's great. You got all the band buttons, everything, mode change, everything in one block. That's great.
Hey, Doug, you know what's funny? I'm pretty sure all of us were having this conversation a couple of months ago, and I was saying, we were talking about Simon Brown's software. And I remember we were saying, oh, man, isn't it great? He's got those little band scopes in there and the audio scopes. And I'm like, wouldn't it be great if we could have that in theaters? And, man, sure as shit, what do you know? Here it is.
100%.
Yep. And I spoke with Richie in one of the chat rooms on Discord. And he said it's probably not going to be till next year, but those containers with the filter in it, because right now I did it the other night. You put a filter in it, you put a VFO in it, and you could basically use it as standalone. But those containers will eventually have receivers in them, and that's your slice.
Oh, yeah. So in theory, you could probably have, I'm sure in Thetis you could probably have 8, 12, in theory, maybe 16 slices if you wanted.
I'll be right back. N4QNT.
Yeah. So I think he did say the number, and I didn't think it was that high. It might have been 6 or 8.
Well, that's still a lot.
Yeah, like it'd be cool to have. How often am I going to have that turned on? Probably not often, and if I do, it would be one extra slice.
Well, okay. So for I guess
More than
surveillance work or RF finding and stuff like that, an 8-slice receiver can come in handy where you're monitoring multiple bands and or frequencies at the same time, or analyzing something, so from a, I don't know what the word is, diagnostics standpoint, the 8 slices is pretty awesome to have, checking band conditions, things like that, analysis. But also, I guess, in a contest situation, there's probably a way to split the 2 receivers to 2 people. Like if you set it up where you had 2 monitors, 2 keyboards, 2 mice, you could probably set up some kind of a 2 SO2R, like with 2 users that are working the radio at the same time. I think that would be one possibility, having all those slices. Also, if you're into some kind of crazy digital modes where you have multiple things happening at the same time, the radio is just going nuts and you've got it doing all kinds of digital modes simultaneously. So there's a lot of stuff you could do with the slices, that's for sure. And then not for anything else, even just the fact that you can move them off into separate monitors. This is the thing I'm kind of getting a little excited about, because I like the idea that I could say, what I would love to have is have my pan and waterfall take up my main big screen in front of me, and nothing else. No buttons, no switches, no knobs, no nothing. Just the Panafall screen on my main display. And then I would love to be able to drag all the controls off onto a separate monitor, right? And have them on a separate monitor. But what would be even more awesome than that is if that separate monitor is also a touchscreen. Because then, as you know, look at the buttons in Thetis. The bands buttons, the comp button, the noise blanker button. Well, if you've got a touchscreen, you could set that up on your desk, right? And make that like a control panel, and just control Thetis from. You see where I'm going here? You see where I'm going here? So now you could make the display a touchscreen control panel with all this. You just build up all your controls and buttons and stuff in the control panel. You could theoretically lay it flat on your desk, like a tablet, like style, right? Just lay it flat, and that becomes your display/control interface to Thetis. The possibilities are endless. You just got to think outside the box with this stuff. KC2QMA.
Yeah, and you could do that now. You can do it now. So I played with that the other night. So you can detach the container, right? So it's outside of Thetis. But what you can't do is if you minimize Thetis, the container, even though it's outside of Thetis, it also minimizes, unless I'm doing something wrong. But I tried multiple different clicks and it continued to minimize. But what you do is I would drag Thetis to my left monitor. I would have the container in my middle monitor. I would make the container very large. I could put a VFO in there if I want or not. Just leave that off screen as well inside Thetis. And then if that monitor on your left was a touch screen, it would work. Or just from a, see, I'll do it right now. So if, hold on. Actually, I'm not going to do it now. But if I undock this container and I move Thetis to the left, I can make the container bigger. And then all you'll see on the live stream is the filter with the waterfall. And that's it. But yeah, you could theoretically do it now. The only thing it doesn't have is the receiver. And I don't use a PTT. I use the Mox button. I use a Mox button with the mouse. I don't use a space bar, but I could. And I could have Thetis on the left screen and just click the Mox button.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, though, if you think about it, Doug, right? Because you can move these things around, all you really kind of, in a way, if this is designed just right, is need a touch screen. And that could become the essentially control interface for the radio. And it would be completely customizable by the user. The user could lay it out however they feel most comfortable and have the buttons they want to have. And then you figure if you had that little, let's say you had like a, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of a reasonable number, a 24-inch flat screen monitor laying flat on your desk, right? Think of this, try to visualize this for a second in your mind. Like a 24 or 32-inch monitor laying flat down on your desk, facing up at you. That's a touch screen, okay? And then right below it, you can have a MIDI controller with your VFO knobs and maybe some hardware controls, physical, actual hardware controls for you to mess with right below it. So you got the monitor laying on your desk, flat up, looking up at you. You could put it on a slight tilt up if you wanted. You've got the control surface in front of that, closer to you, right up where you're, right up at your belly, where you're right up at the desk. And so now you have a hardware and touchscreen interface to the radio, which also gives you visual feedback, because the touchscreen can also show you metering and stuff like that. So you can also look at your meters and stuff like that on that control screen. And then up on the main monitor, you've got your band scope and your pan adapter and all this stuff. And it's like, I think that's like the total 21st century way of running the radio.
100%. And then you could take it one step further. And of course, now we're not talking about Thetis, but even with the no face, you plug that little monitor, touchscreen monitor into the G2, and now you're running Pi HPSDR, and you're fully standalone.
There you go.
So, Doug, real quick, can we just compare notes? And I'm just curious. So, with your G2 now, of course, your VK amp, I'm just curious, what coupler sampler are you using coming out of the output of the amp?
I'm only using the built-in one. So the minus 55 dB tap on the back of the amp, the built-in one.
Great. Okay. Now, when you two-tone, you're pretty safe. You know your zone as far as, so your amp doesn't cut out on you with the two-tone. Sometimes that pulse, you know what I mean? So you'll do whatever wattage output currently. So if possible, what I'd like you to do, just as a quick experiment, and then we can make some adjustments and see if this, changes. When you're ready, do PSA off, like on the panel on Thetis. Turn off your PSA. Hit the two-tone, right? Let's see about maybe 3-4 seconds. Just see what happens with the lines. And then hit, while it's still two-toning, hit the PSA. And I just want to see what happens.
Ooh, that's interesting. All right, here we go. Hold on.
Oh, you're good.
So I wasn't good in the beginning when I hooked it up. And then so I have every inside linearity. Everything is checked off, but that's how I've always had it. So auto attenuate, relax tolerance. Here, I'll put it on the screen. Here we go. Quick attenuate response, pin, map, and SCBL. They're all checked off. There's my amp view, and there's going to be a little delay on YouTube, even though I'm at 1 gig up and down right now, hardwired. And then inside setup, I have under general antenna filters, the only boxes that I have checked off are RX bypass on TX and ground BPF2 on TX. Everything else is off. I even have, because this is new in his newer releases, I have auto ATT on TX when PSA is off, also unchecked, because my PSA is never off. So that's it.
If I can make a comment.
Of course you can, DJ.
Okay, a little bit of what John said about the XLR. You know, when we purchase things in the farming, you know, when we bought a tractor or combine, there's different options that you could add to it. You know, actually, same with the vehicle. There's different options if you get one, you know, built for you. And I'm just thinking, what about if Anan, Apache Labs, had a box there for the different options? Say you wanted an XLR outlet, you know, they could build a radio that way for you. You know, just different options that they could, you know, 3, 4, 5 maybe options. It would add to the cost of the radio, but then you would have it custom built your way. So I'm just wondering if that would be a possibility, especially like what you're saying about the mic input and output and that with an XLR.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they could make some accessories. Hey, let me try the two-tone thing also. Let me see if that does anything. So right now I have pure signal off. I'll just hit the two-tone and then I'll hit the pure signal on button. So let me try that. Here we go.
All right, stopped here.
Yeah, it worked here too.
All right.
Yeah, it looks like it worked on my screen also.
So, Doug, looking at your pure signal amp view, so the guy mentioned on 3630, all boxes are checked except map. The unchecks map. But then you see that explanation point that you have? There was an explanation point on the top right corner. Put your mouse over that and read what's in that box.
It's telling me the value is not what's expected, and I just minimized it. Can I bring it up while I'm talking? Let's see. Yes, I can. It's saying the set peak value is different to that expected for the hardware. Poor performance of pure signal might result. Go into advanced and use the default button. If this difference is expected, then ignore this warning. So I don't know if it should be expected. So should I go click that default in advanced?
Right, and I think you're going to expect the same number, but mine was way off. So the set pack, the SCTPK, that's the number that's going to change to 06121, but it looks like yours is already there.
It is. Yeah, it is already there. So, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't click it, but you're saying it'll adjust back?
6121. When I clicked default and then redid that test like you guys just did, no more 6 lines on, you know, doing a two-tone. They disappeared, and only the 2 tones appeared in the passband.
So wait, are you saying the process is to click default to reset the calibration information there, and then make sure that the map is turned off also, and then do the two-tone test, and that should clear it?
Exactly.
KC2QMA.
And 4QNT.
KB2 UKA.
Right, so that exclamation point is in the event that the calibration numbers are off and you click default, it brings it back to 0.6121 on the bottom corner column. And after doing that, my two-tone worked again like it should. I wasn't leaving 4 lines behind.
All right, so let's see. I just I clicked default, I shut map off, and then I click default. Let me see something.
There you go. Perfect two-tone.
Yep, good here.
Interesting. Okay, so now 1, 2. Okay, what changed? Nothing changed. Let's look at the amp view. Where the hell did that go? There it is. Okay, amp view looks the same for me as it did with map on. So I guess there's no point in leaving it on. And my set peak is it went back. Yes, it went back to 0.6121. And the little exclamation warning sign is now gone.
Excellent. That was some of the updates that Dr. Warren Pratt, kind of put his keyboard hero in with Richie for the last update that came out, and that was some of the results.
Hey guys, I gotta get rolling here. I hate to cut it short. This is a great conversation, but you guys have a great day. Exciting stuff. I'm learning a lot. All right, you guys have a great day. I'll say 7-3. Looks like the weather's going to be nice today, actually. KC2QMA.
Take care, John. Great information. Thanks so much. KB2 UKA.
7-3, John. Have a good day.
73, John. Have a good one. 73, John.
I think I'm going to do the same, guys, get my day started here, too. So everybody have a great rest of the day. Well, it's just the start of the day, actually. Victor Alpha, 3 Kilo. Bravo Charlie's going that away.
DJ, always a pleasure. You're a scholar and a gentleman. 7-3.
Ciao, ciao, DJ.
Have a good one, DJ.
Hasta la vista.
Hey, Doug. What's up, baby? See you, DJ.
That looked good, Richard. They were perfect. Perfect two-tone.
Someone called me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm up. Warming my amp up, Doug. This is K4JKB. Joe Bales, you and I, our G2s traveled together, over.
Yes, Joe. Yes. So, let's see. I got mine 2 nights ago.
Yep, I put a couple messages on Facebook, and I'm sure ours traveled in the same plane and everything. I don't know if your tracking was like mine, and I don't think the tracking was real, but it went from California to Newark, back to California, to Newark, to Memphis, but who knows? But it got here. And I had the same fun you did. It took me forever to get transmit audio, and I've just said screw the balance connection right now for a bit.
Yeah, Joe. Well, I figure yes, and my tracking did say that, and I called FedEx. I'm like, why is it going back to California if it's in Newark, and I'm about an hour and 10 minutes from Newark drive? And she said it's screwed up on the website. It is not going back to California or Memphis. She said for you tomorrow it'll be in Melville, which is like 10 minutes from my home here. So I don't think I think that's just a customs tracking thing. But yeah, I'm using VAC and I'm happy with it. But I got the XLR to work. It did work fine. But nice to speak with you, Joe.
Yeah, K4JKB. Yeah, I had the same weirdness that you had. It was like overdriven, and I'm thinking RF or this or that. And we finally got it lower down. But right now, I think I'm killing something right now. I'm on VAC, and I may sound terrible. I'm really driving the amp. But anyway, it's a great piece of gear. So I just wanted to say hello. K4JKB near Richmond, Virginia.
All All right, Joe Roger. Yep, I'm on one. Gentleman who just signs on one. Art, who's still in there. N4QNT is on one. Art, do you copy, Joe?
I certainly do. Good morning, Joe. Nice to meet you. I think we've talked before, maybe. But anyway, this is Art, North Carolina. Beautiful signal, 15 over 9.
Yeah, we may have spoke a bit here. Yeah, I don't know why I'm driving so much. I've got my drive down, and I don't want to kill my amp. Let me turn that back a bit. But yeah, I have to admit, I've almost emailed you a couple times on your amp. In fact, when I saw that it was almost you were waiting for payment, I'm like, okay. And then I heard you talking about it last night. I guess you're wanting to get the one with the new finals.
Yeah, the new Lux, it does identical output. So as far as the high end, there's no difference from the old Lux to the new Lux. They still both do 1799-ish. And then, of course, the red light will come on, boop, shuts it down. That's Kenny programmed in the Arduino for safety precaution. The headroom on the BLF 188s are great, 2.7. Now the ARC 1K6s, okay, sure, they could probably do 3 if they were wide open. But he puts the governor on, and both amps can do 1795 on the high end. The difference is on the low end. So now lower input drive for the new Lux yields, say, 5 watts. Now you get a kilowatt. So I also have a Hermes transceiver, and that comes in handy. So when I'm on the Hermes 5 watts, now I can get at least a kilowatt with the Lux.
Yeah, I've got a 2+ here. What did you say what are you getting, about 4 or 5? If you said it, I missed it. 4 or 5 with the one you got, 400 or 500 watts with 5 watts out?
Right. So the older Lux, I say old, but let's say last revision was BLF 188s, a pair, and 5 watts, approximately 450 to 500, depending on the band, with 5 watts in.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm still pondering it. I'm sure the thing will sell, but I guess I don't know. If I do that, I'd end up having to get a tuner. I mean, most of my antennas are resonant, but when I'm on 80, I certainly don't have a resonant antenna across the band. But I'm using a ACOM 1000 now, and it gets a little messed up tuning it. I sold my Flex station that had the big amp and the tuner and everything, and I'm proud to admit, well, no, I'm not proud to admit, but I'm proud to admit I don't have any more Flexes at this point, but I've had 14 of them, so I don't know what the hell that means. Maybe I need to go see a doctor.
14?
That's the God's honest truth, yes. Always fighting to get that edge off of the transmit audio, whatever they're doing with their CSSB or something, or I don't know what the heck it is. I never could get the harshness off the top end. You turn the processor off in the smart SDR, and you just don't have enough drive. I tried external gear, blah, 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 and just frustrating.
Yep, same here. I bought a 6600 just to try it out, and I could not get the audio where I wanted it.
Yeah, I still don't know why I've got 40 watts coming out of this thing, and I got my drive all the way back down. I must have, there it went down. Okay. Something strange, but anyway, I had an Anan 10E back in the day, and had fun with that, but Thetis wasn't around then. And when I ordered this thing, you and I probably ordered about the same time. I think you may have ordered a little after me. It took about 2 weeks from the time I ordered it to get it here. And I went ahead and bought a Hermes Light 2 Plus right after I ordered this so I could get familiar with Thetis. And that's well, nice radio. But my favorite thing on this is the phasing control up against my receive antenna. And, that was one thing I was hoping that the Smart SDR was finally going to come out with, because as you know, I mean, they've got this, in their, you got to get a 3,000 or a 5,000, you've got that, but it's just like waiting and waiting for stuff. But by far, without a doubt, and I'm sure y'all know this, where y'all involved with all this stuff. The Flex is the best remote operating software, and before I retired back in April, having an iPhone and being able to use this at work, at the office, and so forth, or that, since I don't have any more Flexes, it's great. So I don't know who said it last night on $39.99. Someone said their desire, maybe it was you, Doug, here on 40 Meters, your desire was in a year's time to be able to be on your iPhone operating your Thetis. I think you said that. That would be great. K4JKB.
I did. And I think we're about a year out, honestly. I think we're a year out. And I think once it's developed, it's going to rival Flex because you'll be on your own local. You won't have to be connected, I don't believe, to a third-party server like you currently have to with Flex. So you'll own everything internal on your own network, and you'll just be able to get in there. Gentlemen, it is that time. My son has karate in about an hour and a half. I got to hop in the shower and make sure he's up. I hear pitter-patter upstairs, so my daughter might be awake. Joe, really nice meeting you on the air. I think we've spoken before as well. I don't have the logbook up. And Art, always a pleasure. This was a really good QSO. They think it's a net, by the way, on the YouTube channel. Everyone, gentleman's asking what time this net meets about Anan's. And Arthur, if you're listening, his name's Arthur also, Art. This is just a bunch of guys getting together, and we happen to land here this morning. So stop by anytime. All right, this is KB2UKA going QRT. Go ahead, Art. 7-3, and take care, everyone.
All right, Doug. Yeah, and listen, I appreciate the live YouTube. It's so great to, we get to, experiment, analyze, listen to the audio, check the signal, make sure it's clean, no IMDs, no, flares and whiskers.
Guys, I got to go.